Good day to you all. So this video aims to talk about the developments and successes of naval warfare in World War II. And how I'll go about doing this is that I'll first talk about the naval warfare and its developments and some background on World War II, the two various theaters, and then vehicles. Alright, so first of all, for developments and successes, there were many technological changes over the years, and that allowed for advancement in naval warfare, even though it wasn't as great as aerial warfare. So I'll be focusing more on tactics used that made naval warfare so successful. Alright, and now on the first theater was the European theater, where it's basically Great Britain, Germany, Italy, France, and Russia who will be fighting on this side of the world and in that sea over there next to the green landmass. And the other side of the world, there is the Pacific theater of war, where it's basically the US on the right and Japan, which is on the somewhere near the top left-hand corner of the screen. So they fought across the Pacific Ocean, first with Japan hitting Pearl Harbor, and then eventually US moves into Japan and occupies it. Now, first vehicle in focus would be the submarine, and how it changes or developed was that it grew bigger in size, and the firepower that it could have was so much more larger compared to its predecessors. And the second vehicle I'll be talking about is the aircraft carrier and how it was a very novel idea to begin with, but people really jumped on the idea as it allowed the ships to be a mobile base on its own. So now focusing on successes, as you can see here, this is a German U-boat, and the torpedo is firing its mass is massive. So there's just basically a whole lot of firepower it can take on, and a more aggressive role, which I will talk about the tactic later on in the next photo. So this man here is Vice Admiral Karl Donitz, who came up with the idea that these U-boats should work in packs, and this plan was called Rudel tactic. And I'll later on explain the tactic and how it was used and how successful it was in the war. So basically, what will happen is that when an enemy ship was sighted, these U-boats will surround the warship and blow it sky high with all the firepower it has. And so this made it aggressive, like a pack of wolves. And before that, submarines were actually just like a stealth vehicle for hit and run. And now, in the Battle of the Atlantic, basically what happened was that even though Germany lost in the end, because it started from 1939 all the way to the defeat of Germany, they managed to take down a lot of ships with U-boats that looked like this, more or less. And as you can see, its increased size allowed for much more manpower on board, meaning that there was actually quite a lot of things to handle, such as the gun on the top there, as you can see, and also the torpedoes and all that, which would be used to take down battleships such as this. So the Rudel tactic would be implemented on ships like this, and also now take note of the amount of guns and cannons and all sorts of weaponry this battleship has. I'll compare it with the aircraft carrier, alright, which is coming right about now. And now this aircraft carrier here, as you can see, there's a whole lot less firepower, and it was a really big development as it could be a mobile base in turn. And so when deployed, battleships would have to surround it to protect it, but then again it also had additional air support, which was fully implemented in the Battle of the Philippine Sea when it was a US occupying the islands near Japan. So it was during their island hopping, and so the use of the aircraft carriers as a mobile base allowed for non-stop attacks until Japan lost. And this brings us to the end of the presentation. And so, as you can see, submarines were actually a very big development in terms of the amount of firepower and aggressive role, and aircraft carriers could become a mobile base for a constant wave of attack.